yesterday I shot my biggest buck to date and could not be happier. If it was my first buck, I would without a doubt get this guy mounted, but I just went to Colorado this past year. I'm trying to save a little bit of money for my wife. Christmas is coming, so I've decided to do an antler mount, and so I thought I'd bring you through the process just to show you how I'm going to do it. I have never done it before. Do not take this as expert advice. Just take it as you're coming along with me on the journey. So here we go. First thing is you gotta shoot a buck. I was blessed to take this guy yesterday. He's 116 inches and 4/8, so pretty nice buck in my book. Super pumped. Right now he's getting processed and gonna have some deer sticks and salami and all that. But anyway, first step, you need to cut this off. I had them do that at the actual butcher shop because I don't have all the tools that I need. Second step is going to be to take a sharp knife and start to peel all of this away. So here we go. Big thing is, I think, getting all this crud out of the inside. You want to cut in around here and get this real nice and clean. Might have to stand up. Alright, so real quick before we go too much further into this, the reason that I'm doing this is my wife is not a big fan of the Euro mounts. She does not like the skull and the teeth and all that, and I'm not real wild about it either, so I don't really want to do that. I don't want to just let the horns go to waste, so that's where this idea of just doing an antler mount came from. And so it's going to be a special antler mount. You'll see the product here at the end, but as I've continued to go, what I've done is I have peeled this one side back. I used a buck knife to really kind of get this fur off of here, and then from there I took this Havalon and nice little turkey tool. You could probably use an X-Acto knife if you don't have a Havalon, and just cut in there nice and tight and close and get all this fur off of there. And so I'm going to do that on this side, and then we'll get ready for the next step. Before I finish cutting the rest of that and getting the hair off, I'm going to go ahead and get my water started. I'm going to have to boil some water, so I'm doing it out in the garage, so it's probably going to stink a little bit from what I've been told. I'll go ahead and light that. And then I'm going to go ahead and light this side too. Got that going. So we got this, using a cooking stove, so I'm not using my wife's good stuff, so she doesn't get mad at me. And then this is also important. I'll tell you about this in a minute. You want another pot of water going, about that much water. And I'll tell you why here in just a second. Get those going nice and good. Alright, they're almost to a boil. So the next step, I got this pretty well cleaned up. Even trimmed it a little bit, got most of the meat off of it. I'm going to put this down in here, nice and easy. Just enough that the antlers are covered. And I'm going to let that kind of sit right in there like that for about 45 minutes is what I've read online. I'll let you know if that's good enough or not. I'll keep an eye on it. Now, on to the really important step. You're going to take this pot of boiling water that you just made, and you're going to dump it right over into this. Because if you're going to sit around and wait 45 minutes for this to boil, then you might as well enjoy a nice cup of French press coffee. We'll plunge that down in about 5 minutes. That's pretty good. You want some? Guess not. It's about done. 10 minutes left. Alright, that looks a little bit better. Starting to get some stuff off there. I'm going to try this. I have no idea if it'll work. I'm going to try and take a wire brush and get some of that off there. Seems to be working pretty good. I don't actually own a good wire brush. This is from my golf bag, and since I hunt so much, I never golf, so figure I'd just use it. But I'm going to try and get some of that off there. That looks like it's probably going to come off with a knife. This on the back, I might be able to use this wire brush on. Yeah, that works pretty good. So I'm going to give it a clean up. I'll show you what it looks like here in a second. Alright, so got it pretty clean. Honestly, the wire brush didn't really help that much. It was still kind of sticky, so just kind of peeling it back. I would use this knife to kind of get in here tight, kind of cut that away, and then I would use my bigger knife to really kind of pry it away and kind of cut it back. So it's looking pretty good. Got most of the meat off of it. I might work on it just a little bit longer. Kind of see that in the light there. So I think we're ready for the next step. So I don't have a ton of tools in my house, so I came up to my father-in-law's for Thanksgiving, and he's got a nice bandsaw. So I took this piece right here, just a little piece of plywood, kind of drew this shape and cut it out. Drilled one screw in. Basically, I'd done 2 holes before, but I felt like they were a little too big for what I needed, so I took a drill press and did just these small holes using a 2-inch drywall screw. And just gonna take this one, put it down through, and we're gonna have our mounting base. Alright, let's check that out. That is pretty solid. Alright, I got a little bit of an excess right here, so I'm just gonna snip those off and should be good to go for the next step. So we used some Plaster of Paris. This is like $3 at Walmart, and had to kind of build this up. It was a little runny, so we let it get a little thicker and then slowly build it up to what it is now. And gonna let it sit overnight, and then in the morning we're gonna go ahead and smooth everything down and begin the finishing process. Alright, so we let this sit overnight. I don't know if you'd have to wait that long. Right now what I'm doing is just kind of smoothing everything out with a butter knife is actually what I'm using. It's a little, still like just a little wet, so I'm not sure what sandpaper would do, but I'm just taking a little bit of this. And really, I mean, this is just as much as what you want. You don't have to make it super smooth, but whenever I cover it with the leather here in a minute, I just kind of want it to have that nice round look, so I'm just kind of rounding it off a little bit. Butter knife works great. Alright, now that we got this base ready to go, I've got this little leather piece here, kind of like this darker color. I'll show you why in a second. Bought this in bulk at Hobby Lobby. So basically I'm going to put this on here tight, wrap it around the back side, and then use a staple gun. I'm going to have to cut some slits. Just kind of cut some slits and pull it in tight, but the whole goal is to get this real nice and tight wrapped around like that. So I'll show you it whenever it's done here. Alright, I'm back in the shop, and I got this thing pretty well tight. Used a bunch of, the back doesn't look great, but I think once I get this mounted onto my plaque, it'll be alright. I'm going to add a little decoration to the base of those Antler spurs. But this is what I'm really excited about, the piece that it's going to go on. No, I didn't build this. I wish I was that talented. I got this off of Etsy. So this was about 50 bucks for this piece right here. You can get them a lot cheaper than that. And you don't even have to do this. I just thought it would be a really cool thing, since this buck was shot in Ohio, somewhere down around here. But basically going to mount that, put 2 screws through the back, put that on there, and add the finishing touches, and we should be about done.
You know, sometimes it works, so maybe.
All right, I think she's pretty well wrapped up. We just took some leather lace and kind of twined that together. I didn't, my wife did, who's running the camera. Just kind of wrapped that around the base, and we used some hot glue. Burned my finger doing that. My wife did too. You could take this if you wanted to and wrap around that. We didn't like just how that looked. We might add a metal plate, but basically that's it. So I'm up at my wife's parents'. I can't wait to get this guy back home, put him on my wall, but thought I'd show you what he looked like all wrapped up. Just an idea for you if you ever want to just do an antler mount.